force, work and energy. In our daily life, we do many actions. When we move an object, we either pull or push it. In a cricket match, the ball is being pushed by the player with a bat. A horse pulls a wagon to move it. We push the paddles of a cycle to move it. You see that either a pull or a push is required to move an object. A push or pull on an object is called force. A force always does not move an object. For example, if we apply a force on a wall, it does not move. Some examples of push or pull are given. A horse pulling tonga. A woman pulling water from well. A boy pushing wheelchair. Effects of force. We can see many effects of force on an object. The effect of force are as follows. A force can stop a moving object. When a force is applied on an object in opposite direction, it can slow down or stop a moving object. For example, force applied by a player on moving football stops the ball. A force can move a stationary object. When we apply a force on a stationary object, it can move it in the direction of force. For example, a player can move a football by kicking it. A force can change the direction. A moving car changes its direction when a force is applied on its steering wheel so as to turn it. A force can change the shape of an object. A force also can change the shape of an object. For example, when we press a balloon full of air, it changes its shape. When we make bread, the force of our hands changes the shape of dough. Types of force. There are many types of force. Let us know a few of them. Magnetic force. When we bring a magnet near iron nails, the magnet attracts the nails because magnet has a force that attracts the iron nails. The force applied by a magnet on an object is called magnetic force or magnetism. Electrostatic force. Things can be charged by rubbing them. For example, when we comb our dry hair, the comb gets charged and attracts tiny bits of paper. Thus, when things are rubbed with each other, they become charged and a force of attraction is produced. This force is called electrostatic force, gravity or gravitational force. Everything that you throw up comes down. Ripe fruit always falls on the earth from a tree. We cannot jump beyond a certain height. Do you know why? Our earth exerts a force on every object that attracts objects towards the center of the earth. This force is known as gravity or gravitational force. Force of friction. When you roll a ball over a floor, it gradually slows down and finally stops. In the same way, when you stop pedaling your cycle, it gradually slows down and stops. Why do they stop? This happens because a force acts between the ball and the floor that slows down the ball. This force is called frictional force or force of friction. Thus, a force that slows down the movement of objects across a surface is called force of friction. It is also called force of resistance. Advantages of friction. It helps us to walk. We cannot walk easily on a very smooth surface or wet floor because there is very less friction and we may slip over the floor. Friction between road and tires of automobiles makes their movement possible. We are able to write with our pen because of friction. You often see that we cannot write easily on an oily paper. This is because there is very less friction between our pen and oily paper. Friction also helps to erase pencil marks from the paper by using an eraser. Disadvantages of friction. It hinders the motion of vehicles. Friction produces heat that damages the machines. That is why we use oil in sewing machines, cycles, etc. Friction also damages the tires of vehicles and soles of our shoes. Roughness of a surface affects movements. Group activity based on CCE. Push a heavy object on a rough surface. Then push the same object on a smooth surface, in which condition you apply more force. You observe that on a rough surface you apply more force to move the object, but on a smooth surface you can easily move it. Conclusion. Roughness of a surface affects movement. Work. Look at the picture given below. Ram is reading a book. Leena is taking her food. A little boy is drawing a toy car. Hari is washing clothes. Now, tell who is doing work and who is not doing work. In all the above activities, only the little boy is doing work. Surprised? In science, work is said to be done only when force changes position of an object. In the above activities, little boy is applying force to move the toy car. Car is changing its position, so he is doing work. Thus, work is said to be done only when the applied force causes a change in the position of the object in the direction of the applied force. For example, if you push a table and it moves in the direction of applied force, then work is done. If you push a truck with all the force you have, there is no change in its position. Hence, no work is done.